I hope that fan did not ruin that intro, so I do another one just in case. Hello fools, I am Finn of the recycling variety, and welcome to my latest video. For today's video, I decided to go through all of the books / media that I've consumed for the first 2 months of the year because wow, it is already March somehow, and I've done a lot of consumption of media over the past 2 months, and so I figured I would talk about it, give you some recommendations, tell you things to stay away from. So I figured I have this really pretty, I think I'm going to give you a full tour of this in my next video, but I made this really pretty book for 2025 book journal for 2025, and as you see here, well, this is my, what's it called? Vision board. This is my vision board for 2025, but this is my book page. So I figured I start out going through the books that I have read so far this year. The first book I read this year was Powerless by Lauren Roberts, although I didn't finish it until, I was just looking at my Goodreads, I didn't finish it until January 18th. Wow. I really was not reading that well in the beginning of January. I had a really bad reading slump, and it was just not happening for me. Afterwards that, as you can probably tell based on my page of books, at least so far, I did a lot better. I think, how many books have I finished so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've finished 11 books so far, basically in a month, because as I said, I only started finishing a book in like the last 10 days of January. So I think that is a win for me. Anyways, so the first book I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which I ended up giving 4 stars. Why did I hesitate? I know the answer to that question. I gave 4 stars. It's a romantasy book where it's basically the Hunger Games, except the people have magic who are fighting against one another. Except, oh no, the main character is the only person in this competition who doesn't have magic. And so she's going up against all these people that have magic, and it's very unfair. And ooh, meanwhile, it seems like one of the guys has a crush on her. Ooh. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The romance in this is so good. Like, it's so, like, you are dying for them. Whenever they brush against one another, you're like, your panties get in a twist. Because it's so dramatic, and I loved the romance so much. The romance is the best part of this. I honestly just did not really care about the competition part. I was just there for the romance. I mean, the competition part was like fine, and the plot was fine, but I felt like it was predictable. You're mainly there for the romance. So realize that the plot and competition are fine, but it's really there for the romance. And I'm definitely going to be continuing this series. There is a second book out so far, and I think there may be a third coming out. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm sure I will correct myself somewhere around here, whether I'm right or wrong about that. Anyways, yes. There is a novella in between the first and second book, but the novella basically covers it covers the events of the first book, but from a side character's point of view, and I don't really care. So I don't think I'm going to read that one. Moving on from that book, the second book that I finished reading was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Now realize that there will be spoilers because I will be talking about the plots of the ACOTAR series. So realize that there will be spoilers, but I will put the time skip parts when I start talking about the books down below. Non-spoiler things, I gave this book 3 stars. It's fine. The beginning is really slow of this book, and now spoilers. Okay, so the plot of this book picks up where the second book left off, where she goes back after defeating Amarantha, and Tamlin and her are all like lovey-dovey, except Tamlin is being super possessive now, and she can't leave, and it's making her super depressed, and they're about to get married, and right before they're about to get married, Rhysand saves her, and so this basically starts a romance between her and Rhysand. So the entire book is a romance between her and Rhysand, and there's basically no plot besides that. And of course it ends with the really shocking ending where, or maybe not shocking, where Tamlin decides to side with, as I said, the King of Hyrule, Hybern, and to get Feyre back. And as a result, Feyre's sisters become Fae. The King of Hybern throws them into the cauldron to turn them Fae. And so, sorry, it's really distracting me how dirty my sheets are right there. They're not really that dirty. I'm just a neat freak. Anyways, so it ends with her sisters becoming Fae and Tamlin turning against all the other Fae and siding with the King of Hyrule. And because of that, Rhysand and his friends failed to stop the King of Hybern, and it seems like he is about to go invade the Fairylands. That's where the book ends. I will continue talking about it when I get to the next books in the series. So then the next book I finished was The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Yes, by Christina Lauren. I gave this book 4 stars. It's a pretty good romance plot where the guy marries the girl because he has to marry someone to get his inheritance, and so they end up getting married because of that, and she has to pretend to be his wife in front of his family, and it's really funny because like she is from this, like, she is not rich at all in any means possible. Like, she works at basically like a Dollar General, a gas station, and the guy's family is super rich, and so she's pretending to be like this super rich person because she's supposed to have been his wife for like however long so far, so she's supposed to have been living this really lavish, luxurious life. And so she has to pretend to be like this person that she's not, and it's so much fun. It's such a good time. I personally really enjoyed it. Yeah, the romance was great, so 4 stars I gave it. And then the next book I read was Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. Faith Erin Hicks. And I gave this 4 stars. This is a graphic novel that really began my graphic novel surge of this year. I say that as if I've read a lot of graphic novels so far, but I really haven't. But I feel like they're really good. Whenever you're struggling to read, graphic novels can be a really good palate cleanser. And I know if I can't even get through a graphic novel, things are not going well. But so this is just a really cute graphic novel where the 2 main characters, it's their last year working at this pumpkin patch because they're about to graduate high school and move on to college, so they won't be there for next Halloween. And it's basically about them trying to seize the moment. One of them wants to seize the moment, and the other one wants to wallow in sadness about it. And it's just about the 2 of them and their relationship, and it's really cute. The next book I read was the next book in the ACOTAR series, A Court of Wings and Ruin. In my opinion, this book is the slowest one. The first like 100 pages, she's supposed to be spying on Tamlin and pretending that she loves him again or whatever because he got her back with the King of Hybern's help. But literally, like, nothing is happening with her spying. It's just her pretending to like frilly dresses over and over and over again, and it's so sad. And there's so many plot points in this where something happens and then basically 100 pages later they just get back to where they were before, you know, like a character gets captured or something and then they save them and they get them back, and literally nothing has changed. Nothing has developed as a result of that. And so I'm like, why even put it in? My belief, Sarah randomly comes up with plot points as she goes, and she's really here for the romance. The romance is fine, in my opinion. Anyway, so that is A Court of Wings and Ruin. The next book I read was Teen Titans Starfire by Cami Garcia. This is a graphic novel. I love Teen Titans. I didn't realize it's like the 4th or 5th one in the series. I didn't realize this when I started it, and then I decided I would start from the beginning and read the first few. I gave this 3 stars because in terms of graphic novel, it's not super well written. Like, the characters tend to say what they're feeling instead of showing it, and it's a graphic novel, so I feel like they should show it more instead of saying it. And they just expo jump on you constantly. It's like constant expo dumping, and the people don't feel like real characters. But the Teen Titans in this, like, so good. Like, the art style is amazing. They look so good. And I do love the storyline with them. It's very cute. They're very cute together. But I cannot with the writing. Expo dumping. Hence why I gave this 3 stars. So realize that before you go in. It's not the most well-written series, but I like Teen Titans enough that I was able to get through it. The next book I read was Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher. This is a romance. It's an LGBTQ plus romance where this girl and this guy are set up to marry one another, except they're both gay. And so they agree to pretend to be in love so they can secretly court the people they actually like. And it's really good. It's super cute. I gave it 4 stars. I feel like this would be a 5-star book if I read this in my baby gay years, but it wasn't life-changing to me as an older gay. It's really, I feel like, more coming to myself, you know, as a gay. But I feel like if you're a baby gay, this will be a really good book. Just don't expect it. It's not like Red, White, and Royal Blue where it's like, haha, cheesy and cute all the time. Like, actually, like, the romance is, like, very real. Like, they don't get together right away, and they don't even like each other right away, some of the romance interests, and some of them have to deal with their own homophobia and stuff like that, because they live in, oh, I forgot, I think, also this play takes place in, like, Arthurian times, so they're princesses and knights and stuff, and it's really cute. And yeah, and there's like an actual plot and stakes happening and like characters actually die in this book, so don't expect this to be like a happy fluffy book like Red, White, and Royal Blue. This is definitely like not just that, but the romance is amazing, the plot is amazing, and yeah, that is Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. And then the next thing I read was Fleabag by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yes, Fleabag is a play, and how do I describe this? Fleabag is a play about a person who is only referred to as Fleabag throughout the play, and basically they kind of accidentally kills their best friend by they slept with her boyfriend, and as a result, to like get back at her boyfriend, her best friend decided to attempt the seppuku, but she just wanted to end up in the hospital for a few days, but instead she did accidentally kill herself. And so she has a lot of guilt from that, and all she has left of her best friend is this guinea pig that she's taking care of, and this guinea pig cafe that the two of them used to run together, but now she feels really lonely because there's no one else left in the world that really understands her. She doesn't have like any friends left, and it's basically her wallowing and being depressed, and it is definitely really depressing. It's funny, but also really depressing, and it really just explored this character of Fleabag, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was pretty good, but I definitely think it could use more work, and I definitely also feel like it's one of those things where it will mean more if I read it again, knowing like where it's going and everything. And of course, plays are meant to be consumed by watching them. So if you like watching this play, it would probably be a 5-star play. But in terms of the reading experience, especially first time reading experience, I decided to give it 4 stars. So still pretty good, but not life-changing. The next book I read was Stoner by John Williams. I saw a YouTuber talking about this book, and I was like, this sounds like my perfect book. It's about a guy whose last name is Stoner, and it basically follows his life where he starts out as a farmer in a farming family, and they decide to send him to college to learn about agriculture, and instead he switches to a literature degree because he falls in love with literature while he's there. So funny, because whoever recommended this, like, posited it as like a love letter to literature, but I really don't feel like it is one. I feel like actually the most interesting things are his romance and his relationships with other people, because he is really bad at relationships, and it also takes place during that time where like people didn't really get married because they loved each other. They got married because that's what was expected of them at like that time and age. So man just saw a woman, spent like a week with her, and was like, marry me. And so he has a really interesting dynamic with his wife, which is explored throughout, and like he has an affair. And it's so funny because like the wife doesn't even really care about the affair. She's like, you think I didn't know that you were having an affair? She's like, and the two of them like don't really sleep together. They don't even sleep in the same bed. It takes place in like he's born around the 20s, and then it goes through to like the 50s, 60s civil rights era. Yeah, it just follows his entire life, and also the drama between him and the professors at the university that he ends up becoming a university professor, and the drama between them is crazy. And that's what really kept me reading and really kept me like really into it was the drama and the relationships. It was so well written, and it felt really real to like how actual relationships are, you know? Like there was no like beating around the bush and acting like everything was perfect and stuff, and I loved that about it. Anyway, so that's what I loved about Summer by John Williams, which I ended up giving 4 stars. And then I read the next book in the ACOTAR series, the last one that I finished in the first 2 months. I still have 1 book left in the series, and I started listening to the audiobook because this one is 800 pages, and that's a lot of pages, guys. And also because I'm waiting for the whole to come in from the library, and also because I heard this one is the worst reviewed. It is long without meaning. I mean, all Sarah J. Maas books are long without meaning, so that makes me really scared when people that liked her previous books say that this one is long without meaning. But I can tell, because whatever. I will save that for another day, though, when I actually finish that book. Anyways, so far, right now we're going to talk about A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah. A Court of Frost and Starlight is pretty good. I gave this 3 stars, I think, because nothing really happens in it plot-wise. It's just a really cute novella. You know, when like Wattpad authors write like cute little like side things with their characters, and they're like, this is them like during Christmas and the holidays and stuff like that, and like there's no plot or something. It's just because the readers want to see more of the characters together being cute. This is exactly the same thing. It's just Sarah writing her characters being cute with one another just for the fun of it. And honestly, I loved it. I ate it up. I was like, yes, I loved it. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. But like I said, there was no purpose to it because there was no plot. It was no plot. It was just them being cute with each other around their version of like a winter holiday. I forget what it's called even. But they exchange gifts. It's basically, you know, it's basically like every winter holiday mashed together. Some of them go on for like multiple days, you know, whatever. It mashes together a whole bunch of different winter holidays. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about it, because literally nothing else happens in it. And then the final book that I finished over January and February of 2025, I read The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I really liked When in Rome by Sarah Adams, and so I wanted to read more of her romance, but the next book in that series was I Need to Put on Hold in the library, and so I went to her section and I found this romance, and I decided to take it out, not realizing that it's the second book in a romance series, which obviously doesn't really matter though, because they're like interconnected romances, and that like you'll see couples from the previous romances and spoilers for how it ends up, but also if you read a romance you expect them to end up together. So I'm like, this is the second book in one of those series, and the first book is The Cheat Sheet, and this book is called The Rule Book, and it's a football romance between a girl who is a sports agent and her very first ever football guy that she gets signed on to her as an agent. They have a past in college, so it is what's it called? It is technically a second chance romance, but at one point, if you can, I know not everyone is the biggest fan of second chance romance, because it's second chance romance though with a side of pretend dating, and I love pretend dating. And so once you get past like, I don't know, like the 100-page mark and they're pretend dating, it is amazing. It is perfection. It is beauty. Basically, they end up getting married drunkenly when they're in Vegas together one night for an advertisement that he has to shoot. And to protect her image, they decide to pretend the marriage is real. And of course, you know what happens. They fall in love with each other. They realize that this wasn't a mistake getting married drunkenly, and that they actually do really love each other, and they have all those past feelings from college, which they do sort out. And it is like a miscommunication trope in that like the guy assumes that the girl hates him and that's why she broke up with him, but in reality that's not the truth. And you're like, but it feels more realistic than other miscommunication things, so it didn't bother me that much. I was still kind of like, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of miscommunication in romances. It really bothers me, but it's not a huge part of this book to me, and so it doesn't really bother me that much. Actually, they are pretty good and pretty open with each other for a pretty large section of the book with their communication, so I appreciated that. So that is The Rulebook by Sarah Adams. So basically, conclusion, if you don't like second chance romance, you may not like this, but realize once you get past like the 100-page mark, then it's also a fake dating trope, and I know I love fake dating, and I don't really like second chance romance, and I loved it. So if you can get through to that point, you will probably love it. So that concludes all of the books that I have read in 2025. Yay! And now I figured I'd give a little sprinkling talking about the other things that I have consumed so far in 2025. I have watched a lot of movies so far in 2025. I have this really cute sheet where they are popcorn, and it's very cute. Anyways, I don't have these in any particular order of when I watch them because they just look very cute and they're popped up everywhere. And so I'm just gonna go through them randomly as I see fit. I'm pretty sure though the first movie that I watched was Deadpool and Wolverine, and that movie, it's it's so funny because when I watched it originally, I was like, wow, this movie's so good, and then I watched it again, I was like, oh, this movie's actually not that good. And so I gave it 3 stars. I feel like this is like, the plot is so bad in this movie, but it's so funny, and I just remember how funny it was, and so I was like, it's such a good movie. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, the plot is all over the place and literally makes no sense. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars. But if you had asked me upon first watch, I feel like it would have been like 4 or maybe even 5 stars. So I also watched Murder Mystery and Murder Mystery 2. And Murder Mystery is a mystery rom-com with, who is it? Adam Sandler with, what's her face? She's in Friends. Wait, I'm thinking of her name. She's in Friends, and she plays, what's her face in Friends? Oh my god, this is gonna bother me. Be like, wait 1 second. The correct answer was Jennifer Aniston. So it's a romance between Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, and I really didn't like that because it was so unbelievable that Adam Sandler could end up with Jennifer Aniston. Yeah. Anyways, especially because Adam Sandler is just so demeaning to women all the time. Like, that's like 90% of his jokes are like him being demeaning to his wife, being demeaning to literally anyone around him, and so he's not funny. He is not funny. And so the first murder mystery movie, I gave 2 stars. And then my partner was like, let's watch the second one, just for funsies. And I was like, fine, although I don't know why we're watching it because the first one was so bad. And so we watched Murder Mystery 2, and I gave this 3.5 stars. This one was so much better. Adam Sandler was still not funny, but there were so many side characters that were funny in this one. And this one there's a character in the previous movie that is kidnapped during his wedding, and so they're figuring out the mystery. I didn't even talk about the mystery in the first one because it was not great. I didn't like super enjoy it, to be honest. It was fine. It was okay. It was whatever. Anyways, but in the second movie, he gets kidnapped, and so they're trying to figure out who kidnapped him / get him back. And because of that, it feels a lot more like an action movie, and Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston as an action movie isn't something I realized I needed in my life, but I did. It was so good because of that, and there were so many other characters that were given funny lines, and they were actually funny, and I really enjoyed them. And there actually was a plot twist in the end that I didn't see happening, but I saw the first one, but then the second one I was like, whoa. So yeah, that's my review of Murder Mystery 2. I think you can also definitely watch the second one without having watched the first one. Just realize there is a bunch of characters that appear from the first one. So if you see someone and you're like, and all the characters act like they know them or whatever, they're probably from the first one. Let's just hit this while we're here. My partner and I have been binge watching recently all of Disney princess movies again. And so Mulan, 5 stars. Mulan is perfect, amazing, beautiful. Can't say anything else about it. Cinderella, 2 stars. Cinderella, literally does nothing throughout the entire movie, and yet ends up with a prince. Whatever, could not care less about her. Pocahontas, I know Pocahontas is like, really bad Native American representation, and I know it's like a stab in the back to the actual Pocahontas, but this movie to me is 5 stars. And like, I don't know how to describe this to you except you need to watch it. It's actually a really well written movie, and if you can ignore all of the issues with it, it is such a good movie. And it makes me so upset because if they had just chosen to instead make this on some fantasy world or something like that and not based off real events and real people, then everyone would be like, this movie is amazing. It's a 5-star movie and everyone should appreciate it. And instead, they ruined it by doing this. But this is also probably partially nostalgia because I watched Pocahontas so much as a kid and I loved it so much. But my partner watched it and she had never seen it before and she was like, I don't think I can get past it. But after watching it, she was like, but I could get past it, and gave it 4 stars. So please just try watching Pocahontas. Just try watching it. And I know it's really hard to ignore it. So I really understand if you can't, but just try. Just make the attempt to watch it. And then watch Beauty and the Beast. This is very controversial. I gave Beauty and the Beast 3.5 stars because among all the Disney princess movies that we've watched so far, it was forgettable. I feel like it just falls flat. The majority of this is supposed to be a romance, and the romance section of this really falls flat. The romance happens way too quickly, and it makes it hard to believe that the two of them actually fall in love with one another, which is like the entire movie. And so once you lose, the entire movie falls flat. Then I'm like, it doesn't work very well. But everything, the music's still amazing. Gaston is still a great villain, whatever. But the entire crux of the movie, their romance, is hard to believe. At least for me, rewatching it. And as someone whose favorite princess growing up was Belle. So no tea, no shade. On Belle, I'm just judging her movie, not her as a person. I love Belle. Going with that theme, we also watched Cruella, which I gave 3 stars. It was fine, but it definitely went on for too long. I feel like I don't have too many other notes for this movie, but it's definitely better than I expected it to be, which was nice. That was good. And I loved how they tied everything in from the actual 101 Dalmatians movie to this. So that was fun. And then I watched Poor Things. And I know Poor Things is like a really well-liked and established movie and like is really critically acclaimed. But I gave it 3.5 stars because to me, it was giving those things that was like trying to be avant-garde to get awards, but actually wasn't being super avant-garde, if that makes sense. And those things always rub me the wrong way whenever people are trying to be all like sophisticated and hooty tooty just to get awards, because I feel like just because something is more sophisticated than something else doesn't mean it's more deserving of awards or anything than someone else. And that really bothered me about this movie. And it honestly felt like, what's his name? A Wes Anderson film done poorly is what it honestly feels like. Like they're trying to talk in that stilted way people do in Wes Anderson films, and I really felt like they were just trying to copy that, and they did not hit the mark. They attempted to, but they did not hit the mark. And I watched Migration. Migration was really cute. We watched this on an airplane flying somewhere. I think we were flying to our cruise actually, and it was fine. It was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty good. It's about ducks migrating south. It's a really cute family of ducks. They're really cute together. But like most things where they're just going on a journey somewhere, it's just like, oh, here's an obstacle. Oh, they overcome it, and they keep going, But it is really cute. It's a really cute family film. Nothing more to say about it. And then I watched Miss Congeniality, which was fine. There's a lot of issues with Miss Congeniality. It's supposed to be like a rom-com where an FBI agent needs to pretend to be Miss New Jersey or something like that. I think Miss New Jersey, because someone is threatening to attack this pageant. and it's not good. No, it is funny, but it's not super funny, and it's not great. The pageant girls are all really stereotypes of their states and also just really lightheaded and have nothing to do with them. Sorry, not lightheaded, airy, super airy, and nothing, like basically no discernible personality besides tropes. And then they try to act like at the end of the movie that all these women are really strong, powerful women, and like the girl goes on this rant about how she came in here having all these preconceptions about pageant queens and like she like got them completely destroyed. And I was like, really? Did we watch the same movie? Because to me, they were all just stereotypes of pageants, of people in pageants. So that wasn't great. So I gave it 3 stars. It's entertaining, I guess. And then I watched Dune and Dune 2. And Dune got a 1 star and Dune 2 got 2 stars because these movies are genuinely awful. Barely anything happens in them, and the pacing is so bad. They go on for forever. And then, like, I remember in the first movie, it feels like everything happens within, like, the last 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay, why didn't you just stretch that out over the course of the whole film? And it was, ugh. And then Dune 2 was just a little bit better, because there is a little bit more action and a little bit more plot, but still not a lot of plot. And I'm like, it bothers me so much. And they also don't explain the world building enough, and there's so many things that don't make enough sense, and it's so upsetting because you can tell that the Dune books have a lot of really good world building in them, and like the author really fleshed out this world and the people that live in it, and the movies fail to add any of that in, and so they're just throwing out all these random like world building things at you, like they're throwing all these random like culture points and stuff like that at you without giving you the prior world building beforehand to understand them at all. And so you're just like, okay, some weird things are happening on screen right now that I don't understand. Oh, it bothers me so much because I know that Dune 2 was nominated for an Oscar and the Oscars are tonight, and it bothers me so much. Oh, I also realized that I watched Emilia Perez. I never added it on here, but I would give that, it's not even on here because it doesn't even deserve to be on here. That movie is awful, horrendous. As a trans person, it is awful trans representation, and I felt awful watching it. I was like, this is why everyone hates trans people, is this like movie right here. And yeah, I don't want to give that movie any more time than it needs to have. That's all I have to say about it. And then finally, the last movie that we watched Dogman in theaters together on Valentine's Day, me and my partner, and 5 stars. It was amazing. It was perfection. It was beauty. It was such a good kids movie. It was surprisingly deep and thoughtful and thought-provoking, but it didn't like shove the message in your face like most kids movies do. And the relationship between little Petey, and Dogman was so cute. Like, the entire thing was so cute, but the plot was really good, and there was actual stakes. And just watch Dogman. I beg of you, please watch Dogman. It will change your life, because it personally changed mine. So those are the movies I watched. Oh my gosh, in January and February 2025. I don't really feel like going over all the TV shows I watched in 2025 because in January and February, because I'm honestly not a super big TV show watcher. I did watch Exo Kitty seasons 1 and 2, and it was amazing, and it makes me want to watch the next season, but it's not coming out until like the end of this year, and that makes me very upset. And I also tried to watch season 2 of Squid Games, and it was a failure of everything that season 1 was. And it honestly contradicts the entire point of Squid Games 1. And it definitely feels like it's just a cash grab to try to make more money off of a series that was popular. And in doing so, they completely ruined the integrity of the first movie, because the second movie goes against the entire point of the second movie. Because the second season goes against the entire point and like of the first season. And as a result, it like completely destroys the integrity of the first season. Whew. So that was really disappointing to me. And so the final category that I actually want to go over is the games that I played in January and February. I am not really great at finishing games, and so realizing most of these games I have not finished, and I pretty much exclusively nowadays play on my Switch. I am pretty much exclusively a Switch player. I don't know, I do have like a PC to game on my PC, but I don't really play on it that much. It's honestly a slog to get out because I have a gaming laptop instead of a PC setup that's already set up in front of you. And I also just like the Switch's handheld. And yes, I am excited for Switch 2, but I'm really scared about the price point of it. So I'm hoping that they are reasonable with their pricing. So the games that I have played in January and February. Let me see. Let me go back. Okay. So the main game that I played in January was Mario and Luigi Brothership. And it's the latest Mario and Luigi RPG. It like just came out and it's fine. It's okay. I dropped it after getting through it about halfway because it's just very kiddish in a way that, like, I don't mind things that are kiddish, obviously, because I play a lot of Nintendo games, but it's just the thing that's very kiddish in a way that doesn't really respect kids and act like they're smart. And so, because of that, like, I would have hated this as a kid, but also it doesn't really allow adults to really enjoy it. It's just very kiddish in its themes and plot, and there's a lot of unnecessary dialogue, but the fighting is great. Like, the RPG fighting elements in it are amazing. But the problem is RPG also needs to include story, and the story simply is pretty bad in this. That's all I have to say about that. And then I played Cult of the Lamb for the first time, and I loved it. It was amazing. I've only played it on my Switch, it says, for 5 hours or more. Honestly, that is just my inability to... This isn't like a failing of the game. This is more like I cannot like hook onto one game for a very long period of time unless it's like a Pokemon game. So Cult of the Lamb, really good. It's where you are about to be sacrificed and you get saved by this death god, and they tell you as a result of you being saved you need to build your own cult, and by doing so, and to do so you need to fight other people through these dungeons, kind of like Moonlighter. And meanwhile you're also going back to your cult and you help build out your cult, and you start setting out like the beliefs of your cult and stuff like that. It's super cool, it's super fun, and yeah, I really enjoy it. And then I played I played and finished Alba, a wildlife adventure. This is super short and super cute. I got it for super cheap on the Nintendo eShop. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's only like 2-hour game, so I wouldn't spend too much money on it. I think if it's like more than $5, it's not worth it on the eShop, but just wait, it'll probably go on sale. But it's super cute. You just explore this island and you try to take photos of all the wildlife on there, and meanwhile you're trying to like clean up the beaches and stuff like that, and fix up the wildlife preserve. And it's so cute, so adorable, great, amazing, perfect, a super cozy game for you to settle down and finish in one sitting. And then we get to my most played game in February, and probably also going to be my favorite game of the year, which is Spiritfarer. And this is me telling you guys that you should play Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is a management life sim where you basically take over Charon's job, however you say his name, who ferries souls in their afterlife, and so you help people in the afterlife move on by helping solve quests and basically fulfilling their last wishes for them, and then you bring them to the Everdoor when they're ready to move on. And I don't know what to say. Besides this game is really powerful, it's really moving, it has a really lot of deep thoughts about death and your life and how you should live out your life, and it's amazing. The characters are wonderful and beautiful, and I'm going to make a spread in my journal just dedicated to this and ranting about how much I love this. And I love it so much that once I finished it, I didn't want it to end, and so I started a new playthrough from the beginning again. It's such a good game, and I really think everyone should play this game once. It's amazing. Perfection. Beauty. And then I played Hoko Life, and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like if Stardew Valley meets Animal Crossing, and I was like, that sounds great to me. And it's really cute. You are in a town where you're the only human, and you get these animals to move in, you complete their quests, and there's also farming, although I haven't played it up to the point where you get to farming yet. As I said, I'm really bad at focusing on games and playing through them all the way. I tend to jump from game to game, but unless it's Spiritfarer, I guess, but and Pokemon, but yeah. So that's Hoko Life. Very chill, very fun, cute game. And then I tried to play, there's a few games in here that I have tried to play. Since I'm really bad at finishing games, I oftentimes try to go back and try to finish them, and then I fail and to get hooked by them. And so there are a bunch of games like that on here. So maybe I should go through those really fast that failed to hook me again. My Time at Portia, honestly, I have barely even played this for an hour because it's so bad. The gameplay is so convoluted. The art style is so bad looking, and there's so many better cozy farming building games than this one. Please do not play My Time at Portia. I do not know why I bought this game and wasted my money, and I wish I could delete it from my library so I never have to be reminded about this game ever again. And then the other one that I tried to pick up again was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Somehow I've played this more than 50 hours, even though I have never gotten that really far in the game. I've tried to play it at least 5 different times, and I feel like I just need more, I need more, like, rules about what I'm supposed to be doing. And I don't enjoy just randomly exploring places that much, especially because I don't feel like I get rewarded enough in Breath of the Wild for randomly exploring. And oftentimes my exploring is stopped based on how powerful of gear I have, which I don't love. And so if the fighting aspect was taken away, I feel like I enjoy the open exploration more. But, you know, it's there, and then it stops my open exploration, and then I'm like, what am I doing here? Because I can't open explore, but there's also like no plot really as to where I'm supposed to go, and I'm supposed to just do whatever, and I don't know, it's not my thing. I need more direction in my life and in my video games. And then the final game that I have currently been playing and loving a lot, of course, is Hello Kitty on an Adventure. And if you want a cozy game, I cannot recommend this game enough. I really enjoyed Animal Crossing, but only to the point where I had quests, because like I said, I really need direction and questing to point me where I'm supposed to be going in a game. And I feel like Hello Kitty Island Adventure is just a better version of Animal Crossing to me because of that, because it actually is quests. It actually gives you direction as to where you're supposed to be going in the game. There's plenty of quests for you to do. There is so many people to befriend, and it takes you a while to befriend them because you can only give them 3 gifts a day, and so you need to come back daily to keep on giving them gifts, and you can physically see that growth of your friendship, whereas in Animal Crossing it's kind of hidden how much your friendship is. Here it's like you can physically see your progress bar, and you get rewards for each level of friendship that you build up with these people, and you unlock more quests and more parts of this island that you're exploring, and it's great, amazing. I don't know what to say. I play it for like an hour every day, and that's all I need to gift everyone and collect items and stuff like that and complete any quests I have for the day. And I just love little games like that. So yeah, I think that sums up all of the media that I have been consuming in the first 2 months of the year. Wow, that was a lot of stuff. And obviously that still isn't everything because, like, you know, I didn't talk about YouTube, but you know, that's like most of the media I've been consuming and spending my time with this year. And yeah, I feel like overall I've been having a really great time. I have mainly, as you probably noticed, have been reading a lot, especially in February. I read a lot, and I have watched a lot of movies, and I've been playing a lot of video games, but mainly Hello Kitty Island Adventure and Spiritfarer have been my two main ones so far. But yeah, so I just figured I'd give you guys some recommendations, talk about what I've been enjoying, and you guys feel free to leave, if you have any recommendations based on what I like, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, especially if you have recommendations. I really want to play more games like Spiritfarer, but I don't know where to go. And so if you guys have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments below, because I need more Spiritfarer in my life, and I am so upset that there is no more. And I have beaten the game. I 100%ed it, and I mean I started from the beginning again, but I'm like, oh, I just want more. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to recycle. Bye!